Well, friends, neighbors, YouTube comment section, what's going on? We back. Part 3 of the great room remodel home project. Check it out. Got most of the ceiling painted. We've got some of this wall painted. This wall is basically the same. Bathroom's getting there. We're almost done here. Check it out. Got the light in. Got our bougie adorned switches in. We got some paint peeling off that needs touched up, but here's the big one. Oh my God, the closet's in. We need a cover for that. Yeah, check it out. It's like a real house now. It's like we're actually starting to be able to live in our house, which is pretty cool. I'm excited. The plumbers are coming today. They're putting the toilet in. That's right, the only toilet that requires a power supply. So, honestly, I think things should get basically finished up between this week and next week. I'm playing hooky from work today to wait for the plumbers. So, we got our last coat of paint on the ceiling. I've painted as far as I can to not paint around the TV because I know as soon as I do that, paint will drip on it. So, I'm thinking if I can possibly get even up to this point painted, this point right here in the room, we can probably move the bed in and I can just knock the TV wall out in a night. But that gets Gina and I out of the living room, which is pretty rocking. So anyway, I'll check back in once we get the toilet installed. Well, call Randy Marsh because the toilet is in. Now, I haven't really figured this thing out yet, and I have been looking on ChatGPT like crazy, but check this out. So this is the remote that is eventually mounted into the wall. So if we hit this button, it opens that lid, and if we open this button, it opens that lid, which is pretty cool. And the other part of this is you have number 1 and number 2 flush. So this is the number 1 flush. And then there is the number 2 flush. But I don't... So, I mean, again, the plumbers were here they got here at 11 and left at 3. So this thing, and it took the plumber and his helper and me to figure this thing out. Here's the number 2 flush. That's right. You didn't think you'd be watching a toilet flush on the Billy channel, did you? So anyway, this is these are the flavors of everything. So this is the back cleansing of various types. So the one on the right is light, and the one on the left is more of a firm power washing. This one is for the ladies. That is the front cleansing. This one is for a fan. So after the bidet does its thing, it basically just dries you. So the funny thing is, I bought this from manybidets.com because I knew that it was going to be a complicated piece of thing. So I figured I should buy it from somebody who I can actually call and talk to if I have any questions. So I have been just feverishly Googling things all afternoon because I still have no idea how it works. And to this point, I have not used it yet. So I figured while I did this thing, I would show you an unused thing. But I will say the seat is heated, and the amount of mechanical things on here are pretty cool. So is this warm? It is warm. As you're using the toilet, air is sucked in through here. There's a little filter right here. I don't know that this really does anything, but it does filter the air, and then it blows it out the back. And then it also has a nightlight, and it has it doesn't have a self-clean mode. This is the Now, it's kind of ridiculous to say that this is the cheaper of them, but this is the cheaper of them. The more expensive ones do have this self-cleaning mode, but it is a pretty wild looking bowl on this thing. So like it does like get in there of like the water when you flush it. It's a pretty wild siphon that goes around. So it goes around the side, which I know is like, you know, kind of hip for most toilets. My mom just put toilets in and they do that. It's not that crazy, but so again on this is the bidet wand that comes out of here, and then this is the dryer that does it. There's a little, it's also really cool here. This is a little piece that comes out that you can actually like manually flush the bidet function out of this. So the remote is removable, so it comes off of the wall, and then there's this whole back programming thing. So you guys know me, I'm a psychopath. I'm sure I'm gonna make a video about how this thing works, because another thing, I mean, again, one of the reasons why I started making YouTube videos in the beginning is because I was looking for information on something that didn't exist. So there is very little information. So there's this toilet, which I think was about $4,200, but then there's like an $8,000 one, a $10,000 one, a $15,000 one, and I think they peak at 20. Like, it's pretty insane. I mean, again, I know that this is an insanely stupid and extravagant purchase, but hey, that's where we're at. So one of the other things is that while Dave and Ryan were here today working on plumbing, they figured out that hey, Fred is eating paper towels. Get out of there, you. So what they did figure out today was that this wall-mounted shower nozzle was out too far, and one of our lovely things that our tile installer, who insisted that I didn't hire a plumber and he would do the plumbing, would do, he jammed up these O-rings, and this is basically sitting about an inch and change, or no, I think it's about 3/4 of an inch out of the wall too far. So I am going to CNC cut them a little bracket to go behind the escutcheon. And the other thing is, because this is a commercial diverter valve, there are no off and on valves. They're behind this, which was interesting. I learned that today, because when he installed the shower, I don't think he ever turned it on. So that means water just sprayed all through the basement, which was just lovely. But they got the shower working. Check that out. A very cool multi-streamed Speakman head in there. So I don't know. Everybody said kitchens and bathrooms sell houses. I just wanted a bougie bathroom. But anyway, that's where we're at so far. So the project of the day now is we have to fit our little adapter to go behind the escutcheon on our wall faucet there. And the toilet's rocking, and John's going to be in here to install the vanity. So paint-wise, there's the ceiling. And I'm going to try to get these walls painted sooner than later. It's July 1st today. So, God, if we could not be sleeping in the living room by the 4th of July, that would be amazing. So anyway, catch you on the next one. Updates. Check it out. Fans in. Room is almost painted. I have this much of the wall and this much of this wall, but God, I can taste it. I can taste not sleeping in the living room anymore. It's gonna be glorious. Electrical stuff. I am in the middle of swapping out all of our plugs with Hubble 5362 reds to dictate which ones are on the generator backup, and I've been doing that, and I've also been labeling them to show what sub panel or what panel they're on, because of course I have 2 sub panels at this house, but my God, we're getting there. My sister came over the other day and she goes, man, that's a lot of trim work. I'm like, oh, I'm aware. So what's left to do? I got to swap these outlets out, and I got to paint this little bit of the blue wall, this little bit of this wall. I just got to take these curtains off, and then I have to finish up the ceiling. So as soon as I can take the TV off the wall and have a real place to put that, which is really what I'm working on now, is just kind of moving everything back because we're just out of room. So, oh, you know what else I got? I got the light switches in yesterday. Check this out. I'm telling you, these Adorn switches are so cool looking. So we did 3. This is the lights, which if you watch my other electrical video, I could not get the little LED light to work on the bathroom, and it worked fine here too. So maybe it's just a bad switch or something. So we did the can lights. This is the light on the fan, and then this one is the fan motor. So the fan's cool. That was a bit of a pain in the butt to put in. I'm telling you, that stuff was, I did not anticipate the ceiling fan taking me over an hour of shaking my fist at the clouds. But anyway, all right, here's where we're at. We're gonna just keep moving along. Well, check this out. We're painted. And we're empty, which can only mean one thing. Well, we're sort of empty. Just finished vacuuming and sharking and boning with the buffer of the floor. So we're gonna try to get the bed in tonight because I think it's gonna take a couple of days for that mattress to inflate, because on the box it says you should only leave it compressed for 4 weeks. And we've had it compressed since the end of November of 2023, and it is 2025. So, whew. Thoughts and prayers, man. T's and P's. Hopefully this all works. But it is cool to see the room empty. I haven't seen this room completely empty in this way since we moved in 2012. So we're gonna set the bed up. Wish us luck. Well, here we go. It was an interesting experience getting this bed together. I think we started at like 8:30 and we ended up finishing at midnight. This thing was a pain. Super heavy. It was definitely a lot. So, long story long, we finally have a bed. But interestingly enough, the bed was the whole reason why we started the remodel. G and I decided that we needed a new bed, but, you know, the bedroom isn't quite big enough to support a king-size bed. Despite me being 5'4" and her being 5'1", we need a king-size bed. But the reason why we did this is because we started the whole remodel is because of this space right here. This is probably about 2.5, 3 feet wide. I mean, you can tell just there's a buffer and paint can there for scale. And I knew that if we put this bed in here, that remodeling the bathroom would be just the hardest thing ever. So it was like, okay, we need a new bed. All right, we're going to remodel the bathroom. I mean, again, if you believe in the butterfly effect, it is so wild that just getting a new bed would require all the expense and effort to remodel half the house. But the rest of the room needs cleaned. We kind of pushed everything to one side so we can get the bed in here. But yeah, we're going. We're cooking. Really, the only thing we need to do is get the sink and get the sink in, and the door needs its handle. But man, we are wrapping this soon. Oh, we need blinds and curtains. Though I guess there's a bunch more stuff. Anyway, check back in. Check it out. We got a mirror. We got a towel holder. We have another towel holder. We have the automatic closing toilet lid. We have the remote. And we have a toilet paper holder. Happy Sunday, y'all. I, again, just have a rare day off here. And I'm just finally getting some stuff done. So this is really starting to look like something. I still have like a little bit more touch-up work to do. You know, there's just a couple of places where the paint peeled that I have to just touch up right here. But for the most part, we're pretty much done. I'm really happy with the way everything looks. I was kind of worried, like this, I've had this mirror for the past couple of weeks. I was just like, oh my God, what happens if it's broken? Here is the infamous sink, of which I have 2 of now, so I need to figure that out. I can't remember if I showed you this in the last video. I mean, I feel like this is a general theme of this, where There are just certain instances of this particular build where my OCD goes absolutely insane. So what I think I'm going to do with this sink, because all he would have had to have done is just scooted this forward a half of an inch or so, and we would have been okay. But man, I'm just trying to use this bathroom at this point. So sink is done. And coming up with I guess the interesting thing about this being a right-hand basined sink is you are right up against the wall. So the bad thing about that is the mirror is kind of not centered to the sink, but I don't know that I really care so much about that. The other thing is I had to mount the towel holder high. I didn't really anticipate that, which was interesting. You know, if it's too low, you're in the, or I'm sorry, if it's too low, you're in the way of the plugs or the outlets and stuff. So it's right here. So I ended up just putting it high. The toilet paper holder was another thing that I was kind of like, this is interesting. Because the sink sits back, you do have to kind of reach behind you to grab the toilet paper. But anyway, other than that, I don't think it's a big deal. These are kind of things that, if I was a contractor and I was trying to think about this for somebody, I think I may have a hard time with that. Just because so much of this stuff is custom. Like, I sat on the toilet and I'm like, where is the toilet paper going to go? And same thing with the remote. It is kind of weird that it goes behind you, but, you know, basically the way that this works is you take the remote off the wall while you're using the toilet, and then that adjusts everything. So that does magnetically store in there. Other than that, I think everything is really kind of pretty much wrapping up. I mean, we have like some tchotchkes and stuff that we have to put on the wall, just to put pictures and things back up. Oh, the towels were another thing. So all this hardware is from Speakman. So the towel holder, the toilet paper holder, and these little robe holders are from Speakman, which matches the faucet's generic. That's a knockoff because the Speakman one was like $600. So this was another thing that I don't really know what to do yet. This is one towel that we put there, and it has this little double hook thing, which is kind of cool. So I think that it can probably fit Gina and I's towels fairly easily. But what I was going to originally do is put them left and right here, 8 inches in, but I just thought that they would be too tall. So, you know, if you're getting out of the shower, you kind of have to reach up, and then you kind of have these towels behind you while you're using the toilet. So, man, who would have thought figuring out where towels go would have taken as long as it did, but that's this project. Anyway, so with the exception of a couple of tchotchkes to hang, I think this project is done. So I guess, you know what? I wanted to call this out. So if any of you are watching this video, there are 2 things that I would have changed with the shower. One, when you're sitting and you're using the steam shower, the outlet is right by your leg, so it's really hot. So what I've found myself doing so far is just wrapping myself in a towel so that when it's ejecting steam, it's not right by my feet. If I would have done it again, I would have put that on the opposite side. The other thing that I would have done is move the linear drain to there. And the reason why is that it's metal, it's aluminum, and then when you're done with the shower, the water that just residually drips from the shower head just goes clink, 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 clink on this. So if you take a shower right before you go to bed, you have 5 to 10 minutes of water clinking. So if I would have had to have done it again, I would move the steam nozzle over there, and I would move the drain over there. The floor is sloped so that it goes into it, so I just maybe would have sloped the floor. I mean, I'm sure you probably can't do that because you're going up against the seat there, but other than that, that's pretty much how it is. So I guess wrapping the project, here's my final thoughts on everything. It has taken almost a year to get this part done. I am very happy with the way everything looks. Some of it looks good from far and far from good. That's my only complaint about this, is that there's just some finish work items that I just to be honest with you, just got impatient about, just because it took so long. That, you know, I wish the drywall work was a little bit better. You can definitely see some sins there, and, you know, if I cared a little bit more, I would have spent more time, but, you know, it got to the point where I just didn't want to sleep in my living room anymore. But, you know, the bed is a lifesaver. I can't believe how long we lived without that. For the past 2 weeks, I've been using the steam shower every single day. So what I've been doing is when I get up to go to the bathroom in the morning, I turn the steam shower on and let it heat up for about 5 minutes, and then I'll chill out in there for 15 minutes, and then I'll take a shower, and it is just a really lovely way to start the day. Oh, you know what else I wanted to tell you, actually, is about the barn door. I still need to set the stops on it, but here's the only thing that's tricky about it. It doesn't lock. And you wouldn't think that that would be that big of a deal, but Fred the cat has figured out how to just get the barn door open, because I put this big handle on it. So if you're using the bathroom, I mean, the shower's not a big deal, but if you're using the bathroom, sometimes Fred, if he's getting a little lonely, can come in. The other thing about that is it doesn't really seal like a door. So if you're laying in bed, you can definitely hear somebody else using the bathroom. So it is kind of an interesting conundrum here of, of, you know, we have this bathroom. This is a very bougie bathroom, and then we sort of don't use it because, you know, you don't want to hear the other person using the restroom. So, you know, there's that, and the door doesn't lock. So, you know, it's always kind of if the door is closed, we are always kind of under the assumption that somebody's in here. So anyway, if you've made it this long in the series, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching these particular videos. I know that they don't have anything to do with what my channel is normally about, but anyway, I think they're cool. If you have any questions, let me know, and looking forward to the next project. Catch you guys later. Bye.